Hi everybody, my name is Rachel, and today is the first episode of this new series here on my YouTube channel, and it's going to be about college and university and the whole process of when you first apply to getting accepted and later on moving out. So my first episode is obviously going to be focusing on the first steps. So I'm looking down at a piece of paper. So I first wanted to talk about finding your path and knowing if you're ready or not to go out and experience a whole new world. Whether it's a university or college in your hometown or if you're moving far away. Personally, I've never been to college, I've never been to university, and this is why I'm starting this kind of series, because I want to show you my process and the outcome, which hopefully is good. So finding your path is a huge thing. You know, you get into high school and you're like, yeah, I have 4 years to know what I want to do with my life. And you think that is a long time, but really 4 years goes by like that. And it's really crazy. I grew up my whole life loving animals and wanting to become a vet, but not gonna happen. And then I got thinking, well, I obviously want to make a lot of money and be rich when I'm older, so maybe I'll go be a doctor. Or I got into this thing where I wanted to be an eye surgeon at one point, which honestly, what? That is, you know, people who are out there who want to do that, awesome for you. Me, I just wanted to do it because I knew they made a lot of money. And now that I'm 18 years old, I've realized money isn't everything, and why would I want to put myself in a job where I hate it, you know? The reason I really want to follow my heart is because of YouTube. I started watching YouTube in grade 9. I fell in love with, I fell in love with the Shaytards and CTFXC and a bunch of other bloggers, and they really just showed me that if you work hard and you put all your hard energy into your dream, it will come true. And don't think that anything isn't possible. If you really want to go out and become a worker at Disneyland, like, go for it, do it. No one's stopping you but you. So YouTube has really shaped me and has really given me the hope that there is something out there for me, because when grade 12 came, I had no idea what I wanted to do still, and it freaked me out, and I would literally have breakdowns because all my friends were applying for college, they were applying for universities because they knew what they wanted to do, and I'm here like, I don't have a clue. And people were really surprised because I was a really hard worker in high school. You know, I studied lots, I wanted to get good grades because I knew it was important when you're applying for schools. And when people knew that I wasn't applying for anything, they were kind of like, it was a shocker for people. And I think that put a lot of pressure on me, and it really terrified me. And I didn't know where to turn to, because sure, I could go talk to a counselor and talk about my what I enjoy to do, but they never really led me in the right direction. I still never really got a clear answer. I knew that I loved drama, and I really loved writing. My favorite things to do would be like playing guitar, acting, watching YouTube. And obviously one of my biggest dreams was I want to go work for YouTube. And I still have that mentality in the back of my mind. Like, I love YouTube so much, and I would love to go work for them, or go work for Maker Studios with Shay. Like, I think it would be so cool. So that's one of my dreams that I am working hard for. But yeah, anyways, back to the story. High school came, it's grade 12. I still had no idea what I wanted to do. And I never did apply. And I was like, you know what, Mom? I'm taking a year off. And it was hard for me to say that. But my older sister did it, and it worked fine for her. So I was like, I'm going to take a year off. I'm gonna work, I'm gonna make some money for school, and hopefully during that time, I will know what I want to do. And so when I told my friends that I was taking a year off, they were like, what? You're taking a year off? You're never gonna go back to school. And I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, oh, if I had to take a year off, I would never go back to school. I wouldn't have any energy or, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, like that's not it at all for me. Like I want to go to school. I just have no idea what I want to do. After graduation, summer passed and yep, still no idea what I wanted to do. And then I landed my first job as a nanny, and I'm still a nanny right now. So I started working as a nanny, and then I got a job as a hostess at a restaurant, and I'm still doing that as well. And so first month passed, and then I was looking more into universities and college online, and I came across this one. It used to be a college, but now it's a university. And I came across this school, and I was just looking through their programs because I didn't have an idea, so I just went to different colleges and university, and I would look at their programs and just see if anything would pop up. So there's this, they had a communications degree, and that kind of flashed, and I was like, communications, like I want to know what this is. So they had 3 majors. There was public relations, web design, and journalism. And the one that kind of stood out more to me was public relations because I wanted to work in a sort of media environment with the public. So I kind of clicked onto that and hopped on and was started reading all this stuff, and I'm like, mom, like I'm so interested in this. I want to do this. So I would like look through all the classes, and I'm like, yep, this is what I want to do. It had a lot of writing, but I was like, yes, like this is it. So me and my mom, we applied for the school, we applied for the residence, we got everything ready, good to go. I was like, I'm going to this college. Most was I discovered I wanted to go to this college a month after school started. And I was like, now I have to wait a whole entire year before I can go to school. So that kind of sucked. But lesson learned. So I passed the first step. This was a really competitive school. So I passed the first step, and that was to have high grades. And then my next step was to have an interview with them. But since the school was out of province, I had to do an over-the-phone interview. I didn't have to go in. So I just did this interview last week, and they asked me a bunch of questions. I had to do a lot of research before. So they told me, get prepared, know what it's like to be in public relations, know what all you have to do, stay up with current events. And I'm like, this does not sound like fun anymore. This just sounds like I'd be working for the government, and just, it didn't sound like what I wanted to do. I'm gonna have a whole other video of how to prepare for an interview. I talked to this one girl, and she mentioned that a friend of hers went to this other school. And I'm like, oh, well, and I'm gonna go look it up. And she said, yes, it was awesome. It was really good. It helped her get a job right away. So I was like, okay, like I'm gonna go look into it. What can I do? Look into it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is my calling. Like, this is where I have to be. And then I started looking back at the other school, and I'm like, I do not want to go there at all, and I have to do this interview, and I have to get all ready for this, but I just totally lost interest in that other school. And I became so focused on this other school, and it was another communications degree, but it wasn't just focused on public relations. It was like everything. It just looked so much fun. I hopped on the train, I applied for residence. I just was like, I might as well apply now because I don't want to be too late and not get in, you know? I have to wait back until the end of January to hear from them, or beginning of February. Sometime around then I'll hear back if I got in. And with this other school, I have no idea when they're gonna mail me. Hopefully around the same time, because I did apply early, I think. And I don't know the process. They don't have to do an interview, so I don't have to go through anything like that, which is kind of like a relief because it is a lot of pressure. So yeah, that's kind of my story with my situation of university and college. So just kind of like closing up the tips, don't rush. Rushing just gets you into a mess. That's why I didn't rush after high school. I was just kind of like, you know what? I need to take a year off. And you'll know when you need to take a year off. It'll kind of just hit you. And don't feel like you're not going to go back to school. If you find a program at a school that you really love, you're going to want to go back to school. Like, I seriously want to go back to school so much. Like, it's scary. Don't listen to what your friends say if they're like, oh, you'll never go back to school. You know, if you have that mentality that you will, and you have parents who support you or other friends who support you, you're going to be fine. And taking a year off is awesome because you can make a lot of money, and that can be going to school. My nanny job, all my money is going directly to school. I'm only working as a hostess so that I have some spending money. So yeah, I do work 7 days a week, and it's crazy. Also, everyone's different. If your friend's going to school and you don't know what you want to do, don't feel like you guys have to go to the same school. Don't feel like you have to be right at that same level as them or at the same level as everyone else. And if you're that smart person in your class and you don't know what you want to do, don't feel like that's holding you back and making you look stupid. It's not. You're being smart because you're waiting for something to come out and just grab you and say, this is your future, this is what you're gonna do. School takes a lot of thought. It's not something you just jump right into, because I know some people who jumped right into after high school and they didn't want to do what they started out with. So, you know, give yourself some time. Anyways, you guys, I think that's it, and I'm gonna wrap this video up. I know I kind of started this without telling you guys who I am, because I think this is gonna be my first video on this channel. My name is Rachel. I'm 18 and I'm taking a year off and hopefully going to college next year. So that's kind of my story. This is my bedroom. So let me know what you guys thought of this video. I really hope you enjoyed this series, and I hope that my school success will continue this series, because if I don't get into school, bye-bye series. But yeah, expect a lot more of these videos. I have a lot planned out. So if you guys want to know anything else about school that I haven't touched on, about applying, and basically getting ready for school, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to check them out and help you guys as much as I can, because I think it's best coming from somebody who's going through that experience and who is going through all the emotion. Have a good day, you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!